Was ist los? It's your German boy here, and welcome back to If My Heart Had Wings. Now, at the back of the last episode, it really did seem like everything was lost. Kotori agreed to return home to her parents in Tokyo, and the Teachers' Council not only reconfiscated our glider, but also went the extra mile to smash up the winch we were using to launch the thing in the first place. So, at this moment, it really seems like all is lost right as the morning glory is about to pass us. But, you know what they say, though. Once you hit rock bottom, the only way onward is upward. So let's just keep trudging on in what might be the home stretch. Let's do it, guys.
どうしたの？顔、真っ青だけど。
I'm fine. Where's Hibari?
小鳥ちゃんの部屋にいる。
Entering Kotori's room, I see Hibari packing.
水瀬さん。
Taking one look at me, Hibari seemed to instantly know what was going on. She quietly closed a cardboard box packed with Kotori's textbooks.
たったこれだけなんですね。
Hibari spoke in a whisper as she looked at the few small cardboard boxes that contained all of Kotori's things. They were mostly filled with clothes and everyday items. The rest had textbooks in them. Aside from the stuffed animals that had been on the bed, Kotori didn't have much personal stuff. She said having lots of stuff was mostly a hassle. Hibari seemed extremely sad. I completely understood. Having only a few things made Kotori's own existence seem somewhat small. Hibari was silent. Tears began to form in her eyes.
どうすることが一番なのかわからない。私はやっぱりグライダーに乗ることは反対よ。あんな事故にあって足が動かなくなってしまったのに、まだ空を飛びたいだなんて。私は小鳥ちゃんがグライダーから降りてくるのを見たとき、心臓が止まるかと思ったわ。でも小鳥ちゃんは飛んだんですよね。
Yeah, she wasn't scared at all. Even I was surprised by that. If she was nervous about being up in the sky, Kotori didn't show it at all.
私、今でも水瀬さんたちに感謝しているし、風ヶ浦に来てよかったんだって思っています。小鳥ちゃんがまた元気になってくれたんだもの。それに、もし小鳥ちゃんが皆さんと同じ夢を見られるのなら応援してあげたい。お父さんも本当はそう思っているはずなんです。
Saying that, she closed her eyes. It almost seemed as if she was praying that what she said was the truth.
でも、もし今ここに残れば、今度こそ家族はバラバラになってしまうかもしれない。
I heard your mother isn't doing well?
ただの貧血だろうと言っていました。母はもともとあまり体が丈夫じゃなくて。私が実家へ連絡したとき、小鳥ちゃんの事故を先に知ったのは母だったんです。その時、父は仕事で電話に出られなくて。病院で父が一晩寄り添って、少し良くなったと聞いています。
Oh. Considering Kotori's condition, her mother already had to worry more about her than most mothers would. So to hear about the accident, and that it was a glider accident, must have been a huge shock. Isn't there any way that Kotori could stay? Something other than having her quit school? I was getting agitated, and my tone was becoming less kind. However, Hibari only shook her head at me.
父も母も小鳥ちゃんと一緒に暮らすことを強く望んでいます。将来どうなるかはわかりませんが、今すぐには。
But she has things she wants to do. Not just this year, but her entire future. What's gonna happen to her? Saying this to Hibari wouldn't change anything. I still couldn't do without saying it. An awful silence surrounded us. Suddenly, the little door within the door opened up and in came a duck.
Quack.
Hat entered the room and waddled over to Hibari's feet.
ハットちゃん。
Hibari kneeled down and patted Hat's back.
Quack.
Kotori hasn't come back, so he's been searching the dorm for her. Hat always does that on days Kotori's late coming home.
そう。小鳥ちゃんからのことづてで、ハットちゃんをよろしくと言っていました。
You don't have to worry about him. Sure, he'd be lonely, but if you left him alone here, he'd find food just fine.
強いのね、ハットちゃんは。ガガー。
Hat seemed to enjoy Hibari's petting him. What's gonna happen to Kotori now?
今夜はうちで預かって、明日の朝、父が迎えに来ることになっています。退学などの手続きはすべて父が行いますので、もうここへは。
Can I see her one more time before she goes? Bitte, Hibari, please let me see her! Hibari stopped petting Hat. Standing up, she pulled something out of her bag.
これを、水瀬さんにって。
Huh? She handed me Isuka's navigation diary.
もう自分が持っておくべきものじゃないからって。水瀬さん？
Huh? Oh. Yeah.
それと、これも。
With a strange look on her face, Hibari handed me the things she was talking about. What is this?
わかりません。水瀬さんに渡してほしいって。
It was a paper airplane. It was a completely normal paper airplane. I quickly unfolded it, but there was nothing written on the paper.
荷物は後日引き取りに来ますので、それまで置いておいていただけませんか？
Okay. With my head hung low, Hibari looked at me with a bit of worry in her eye.
あの子が東京へ戻ったら、連絡があると思います。それまでそっとしておいてあげてください。
Saying that in an apologetic tone, Hibari left. For a moment, I couldn't move from where I stood. A sudden exhaustion came over me. I didn't have the energy to combat it. I threw myself onto the bed. My eyes glanced over at the flight diary I'd received earlier. She said she didn't have any reason to hold on to this any longer. This notebook was pretty much Kotori's starting point. After finding it in this room, she then discovered the glider, flew herself. Returning it meant Kotori was saying she had made up her mind. Rather, she was throwing it all away. All of her feelings for the sky. I searched through every page of the notebook to see if she had left a message somewhere. I couldn't find anything anywhere. The notebook was exactly as it was before. I looked at the last page, the things I want to do list. Even looking now, there were some ridiculous things written. One was skip school. Seems like she'd done that once yesterday by accident. Only the top item, fly through the passage of clouds, was left unchecked. Even though that could happen tonight.
やりきれないね。なんか。
Looking up to see who spoke, I saw Kaneko in the doorway. Just as she had said, I was completely frustrated. She'd probably heard me and Hibari speaking. Kaneko came into the room and sat down next to me.
はぁ。
She picked up Hat and put him on her lap.
昔さ、いとこがインコを飼ってたのね。
Is that so?
それがすんごい可愛くてさ。私、その子に会うのが楽しみで、いとこの家にしょっちゅう遊びに行ってたわけ。インコって結構賢くてさ、飼い主に懐くのよ。指や肩に乗ったりね。知ってた？
Huh. I wasn't sure why Kaneko was talking about parakeets, but I just quietly listened.
ある時、いとこが新しいインコを買ってきたんだよね。一匹だけじゃ寂しいだろって。私も早速見に行ったわけよ。いやー、あの時はテンション上がったなー。まだ子供だって言うからさ。でさ、見ちゃったわけ。羽を切るところを。
Cutting the feathers?
そう。
Kaneko grabbed some of Hat's feathers, flicked them around.
インコを飼うときって羽を切るのよ。先っちょをほんの少しだけね。全部の飼い主がそうしてるわけじゃないみたいだけど。
Why in the world would you...
私もそう思ったわ。どうしてひどいって。そしたら急にインコがかわいそうに思えてきて、いとこのうちに遊びに行かなくなっちゃった。
That is pretty terrible. Like, yeah, why would someone, like...
って思っちゃうよね、やっぱ。で、それからだいぶして、もうちょっと大きくなってから、そうしなきゃいけない理由があることを知ったのよ。
Really? What is that?
そうしないと部屋で話したとき、勢いよく飛びすぎて、天井や壁にぶつかっちゃうらしいのよ。物が崩れたりもして、インコの怪我のもとになる。それに、窓から飛び出してっちゃうこともよくあるし。ほら、 たまに見かけるでしょ？インコ探してますの張り紙。
I hadn't seen any recently, but just like I'd seen them for missing dogs, I'd seen a few for parakeets as well.
羽を切ってても少しくらい飛べるし、人に飼われて暮らすなら、その方が暮らしやすいんだよね。要は、飛べなくするんじゃなくて、世界の狭さに合わせたサイズに羽を調節するわけ。
I see. I had no idea that was a part of keeping a parakeet. Cutting the feathers sounded awful, but I guess it's a bit like keeping a collar on a dog.
で、今でも時々考えてしまうのよ。さて、どっちが幸せなのやらってね。懐いてる飼い主に可愛がられて、たらふく餌を食って、天敵に襲われない安全な場所でぬくぬく眠れて。幸せなんじゃないかって思うんだけどね。けど、聞けないじゃん。インコの本音なんてさ。
Right. As she commented to Hat how he couldn't fly to begin with, she placed him on the floor and stood up.
聞けたらいいんだけどね。インコの気持ち。
She left the room looking frustrated. The parakeet's feelings. I can at least look up to the sky. Is that really what Kotori felt? Even if it was that all she felt? I don't know. At any rate, it seemed that Kotori had already decided her future.
Ah. お疲れ様です、先輩。ああ、別に疲れてないぞ。夜。何ですか？ここは任せてもいいかな。私は外を見てくる。ええ、そうしてください。疲れてないのか。葵先輩、遅いですね。でも、心配ないよ。必ず戻るって言ってたじゃん。はい。糖分が足りない。姉さん、チョコ。はいはい、ただいま。ありがとう。あの人、すごいわね。あまねさん？私、自分より頭いい人、初めて見たわ。本当に天才なのかもしれない。どうなの？いけそう？ええ、多分。あの人が外でちょうどいい場所を見つけてきてくれたら。ただ、まだ裏付けは完璧じゃないわ。休憩終わり。もう一頑張り。葵先輩！葵！
Without quite realizing it, I'd returned to the secret base where everyone was waiting. Agihel ran up to me as soon as I came in.
こっちは行けそうだよ、葵！そっちはどうだった？葵？
Saying nothing, I handed over Itsuka's navigation diary.
何これ？
She said she didn't have any reason to hold on to this any longer.
それってどういう。
She's decided to quit school in the middle of summer vacation.
え？今、なんて。
After hearing about Kotori's accident, her mother collapsed. She said she didn't want to worry her parents anymore. She said she's done. As I spoke, I could feel tears welling up in my eyes. I took a deep breath to pull myself together. Verzamane! I was planning to give Hisuka's diary to her. It wasn't something I should be holding on to.
今、外に出てる。
Okay, I'll go look for her. A strong wind was blowing outside. Due to its shape, strong winds often blow on Windmill Hill. That wasn't the reason this time. When the morning glory appears, the airstream becomes turbulent and a strong wind will blow. Looking at the sky, I still couldn't see the cloud formation, although it was clear it was coming. I sat down on the grass. I had no real intention of going to look for Amane. I just couldn't stay in there. I had to get out. The wind noisily ran up the grassy plain. This is where it all began. I came back home after becoming unable to ride my bicycle. Then, the first time I came to this hill, I met Kotori. Her wheelchair had a flat tire, and I helped her. That's how it started. A year's passed since then. We lived together as each other's sky-gazing partner. We argued, yet we always still looked up at the same sky. Please don't get her all wrapped up in your normal person dreams. He says that not even knowing what his daughter feels when she looks up at the sky.
"私、飛びたい。モーニンググローリーを、雲の回廊を渡りたい。そうしたら、取り戻せる気がするの。未来が。そう、未来。私がなくした、一番大きなもの。もし、モーニンググローリーを飛べれば、取り戻せる気がするの。
Could Kotori find happiness by going back to her parents' home? Giving up on her dream, throwing away her future. There's no way she'd be happy. I wish I could bring her back right now. But that would completely disrupt Kotori's family. This is my family's problem. If I don't go back home, my family would entirely fall apart. I couldn't let that happen. Kotori had to decide which one of those things was more important. Without any trouble, she chose her family. I just want her to come back. Though, I guess that just means I'm being selfish. I looked down at the paper airplane that I was given along with Isuka's navigation diary. It was a completely normal paper airplane. There was nothing special about how it was made. There was nothing written anywhere. She'd given up on flying, but not the desire to fly. Was that the message? I picked up the paper airplane and threw it. It quietly glided through the night sky. It fortunately missed a head-on wind that proceeded to fly toward the hill's bottom and disappeared into the darkness. It flies well. Kotori definitely made it. As I was complimenting the paper airplane, I saw someone coming up from the foot of the hill. It was Amane.
これを投げたのは君かい?
She was holding the paper airplane in her hand. She came over near me and stared out at the lake at the bottom of the hill.
いい風が出てきたな。
Yeah.
ちょうどいい場所を見つけた。飛べるぞ、葵くん。
I wonder.
なんだか張り合いがないぞ。どうしたんだ?
I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do is. Without realizing it, I'd begun complaining. Amane gave me a perplexed look. I still hadn't told her about Kotori. Of course she'd be confused. Sorry, I'm talking crazy. Fuck it.
正しいとか間違ってるとか、私はないと思う。
Huh?
それを決められるのは自分だけだ。だってそうだろ？誰かにとって正しくても、他の誰かにとって間違ってるってことはたくさんあるんだ。だから僕は、僕にとって何が正しいか、他人に決められるのなんてごめんだね。迷った時は、自分の心に耳を澄ませるといい。あんたの正しい答えは、そこにある。
Well... I stared blankly at the poetry coming out of Amane's mouth.
イスカが私に言った言葉だ。驚いたよ。それまで私は、どんな問題にも正しい答えは一つだと思っていたから。天才だろ、イスカは。
Yeah, seems like it.
だから君も、自分の心に耳を傾けるといい。私はバカだから、今もあまり上手にできないんだけどな。
Sounding embarrassed as she spoke, Amane handed the paper airplane to me.
さて、フライトプランを練り直すか。
She stood up and headed off to the secret base. As I watched her walk away, a light went on in my head. Suddenly, I remembered everything from that moment. The first time I met Kotori. A white paper airplane had gently flown over my head. It was almost as if one of the windmill blades detached and flew through the air. I picked it up, climbed up the hill, and then... I met her. A girl in a wheelchair with a sense of innocence about her. She was staring wistfully up at the sky. As the wind came and blew her long hair, she ran her fingers through it. A black-haired girl in a white blouse sat with a scenery of windmills and a blue sky surrounding her. It was like looking at a painting. So, it got to you. As she said that, tears began to well in her eyes. She'd thrown the paper airplane. What did she say then? That way, if there's someone who can get my SOS and come here for me. SOS. My body trembled. I looked at the perfectly plain paper airplane. Could this really be an SOS? Was this Kotori calling out for help? Probably wasn't. Since I want to see her so bad, I'm probably connecting the dots in my head. However, if she is, I'm too late. I stood up and ran in the opposite direction of the secret base. I pulled out my cell phone as I ran.
もしもし、葵?
Can I ask you to get the glider ready?
いいけど、どうしたの急に?
I'm gonna go get Kotori. Ageha?
そう来なくちゃ。こっちは任せて。だから絶対連れてきてよね。
As soon as I hung up, I called Anchan. Come on, Anchan, pick up! 9. Not picking up. I decided to hang up and make a different call.
はい、もしもし、ハバネです。
Sorry for calling so late. This is Aoi.
水瀬さん?
Is Kotori there? I asked, almost completely out of breath. Her body was deathly silent.
実は、もう父が迎えに来て。
I thought he was coming tomorrow.
小鳥ちゃんの気が変わる前に連れて帰りたかったんだと思います。
When was this?
ついさっきです。まだ5分も経ってません。
I see. Dankeschön. Before hanging up, I remembered there was something else I had to talk about. Can you come here now?
私がですか?
Jawohl! I want you to see what Kotori was aiming for. Bitte! Whether or not Kotori flies, I want her sister to see. I wanted her to see what Kotori, what all of us were after.
わかりました。
I guess that didn't work. Anchan didn't seem to be answering. I thought I'd ask him to use his car. Taxis don't run at this hour in this countryside. Guess there's only one thing left to do. Just to be safe, I left a message for Anchan. When I was ready, I put a hand on my partner that I'd been maintaining every day. Alright, mein Freund. Let's do this.
葵が が小鳥を迎えに行くって。本当ですか？小鳥のことは葵に任せておけばいいと思う。必ず連れてきてくれるはずだから。ただいま。ちょうどいいところに。どうでしたか？ああ、バッチリだ。となると、あとはグライダーですね。そっちは私が行ってくるわ。朝ちゃんは発行準備の方をお願い。人手がいるから適当に集めてきて。ああ、あとライトも必要だ。懐中電灯か何かを一緒に集めてくれ。ラジャーです。ここからが正念場よ。忙しくなるぞ
Couldn't go my full speed, but I was still going pretty fast. There. That place is Sada Naniwashi Bridge. Go through the direction south here. Giant bridge connected to an island in the middle of the lake, making it look like some sort of natural way. Even ignoring the beautiful landscape, due to convenience, any Tokyo-bound molecule is definitely taken out. Calculated. It would have taken an hour to get to the bridge from the body out. This is late at night, things will be speeding, but I doubt they'll be followed that day. Instead, they went to the bank using it wherever they could. It was about 30 kilometers from the bridge, so close as they lived. Hurry. Pedaled as hard as I could. マーボー、お待たせマー君。
おっせえよ。何やってたんだよ。
これ用意してたら遅くなっちゃって。
ガスバーナー。お前それで何する気だ？
決まってんでしょ。鍵を焼き切るんだよ。
焼き切るんだよじゃねえよ。危ねえ女だな。
何言ってるのよ。叩き壊すより野蛮じゃないし、音も小さくて済むでしょうが。
いいのか、ホタル。こんなことに首突っ込んで。
Where did you get that blowtorch, by the way? Not important.
青兄たちのためだから。
まあ、そういう俺も巻き込まれてるしな。
さあ行くよ。時間がもったいない。葵たちが戻ってくる前に準備整えなきゃいけないんだから。というわけなんです、皆さん。ご協力をお願いします。おお、ついに飛ぶのね。どうしますか、ゆかさん。
もちろん手伝わせてもらうわ。そのために早めに帰ってきたんですもの。
私もいいよ、朝ちゃん。ありがとうございます、皆さん。いやー、みんなにメールしといてよかったわ。それと、懐中電灯か何か、手で持てる明かりがあると嬉しいんですけど。どんなのでもいいの？はい、なるべく明るいもので。 それなら、あれがあるじゃないっすか、ゆかさん。
あれ？あれでよければ余ってるけど。
夏の野外ライブが雨で中止になっちゃいましたもんね。
そうなのよ。あの時は本当に悔しかったわ。私がどれだけ楽しみにしていたか。
朝ちゃん、人でこれだけで足りるの？なんだったらもっと呼べるけど。本当ですか？できればあと10人くらいは。おいさ、連絡も回してみるね。けど夜遅いし、大丈夫なんですか？多分ね。ソアリング部がついに飛ぶって言ったらみんな来ると思うよ。そうなんですか？
みんな結構期待してたからね。すごいことをやろうとしてるみたいだって。
うんうん。やっぱロマンがあるもんね。空飛ぶのって。みんな、頑張ってたから。皆さん。もしもし、あかりちゃん？ごめん、寝てた？起きてた？そう、それ。察しがいいね。うひひ、さてはお主。風がどんどん強くなってる。これは計算した以上だな。あんまり風速がありすぎると、かえって離陸が難しくなるんじゃ。そういやそうだな。みんな、うまくやってくれてるかしら。大丈夫さ。きっとうまくいくよ。みんな、いい子たちだからな。根拠になってませんが。けど、私もそんな気がします。
小鳥、寝てていいんだよ。
Dad's car drove quietly through the night roads. The destination was Tokyo. Meine Pause.
すまないな、こんな時間に。少しでも早く母さんに会わせたかったんだ。今から帰れば、ちょうど朝には戻れるだろう。
わかってるよ。私も、早くお母さんに会いたい。
母さん、小鳥が帰ったらきっとすぐに元気になってごちそうを作ってくれるぞ。小鳥は何が食べたい？
オムライスかな。
コロッケじゃないのか。小鳥好きだっただろう。
コロッケはね、自分で作れるようになったから。今度は、私がお母さんに作って食べさせてあげたい。
おお、それは楽しみだな。もちろん、お父さんの分もあるんだろ？
どうしよっかな。なんて。
He was laughing. It seemed to be coming from the heart. It wasn't forced at all. He was genuinely happy. So that made me a little happier. The little chit-chat was over as quickly as it started. All I heard was the awful sound of the tires against the asphalt. My cell phone was trying to distract myself from the silence. So the scientist now. It's a morning glory is coming tomorrow morning. stared blankly at the message. It was the last phone I got from the person I love.
おお危ないな。深夜だからって無茶な運転をして。大丈夫か、小鳥。
平気。
ああいう輩がいるから交通事故がなくならないんだ。まったく。
窓、開けていい？
エアコンが強かったかい？
そうじゃないの。風に当たりたいだけ。
It was completely black. In that black sky, though, I knew the passage of clouds was slowly but surely being made. A sign. The morning glory sign. The sky I'd been longing for all this time. If I was in this town for just one more day, 9, just tomorrow morning, I'd be able to see it. However, these altos taking me further and further away from Kazagawa every second.
今、どのあたり？
もう少ししたらさざ波大橋が見えてくる。ほら、前に通った大きな橋。覚えてないか？
ああ、あの綺麗な橋。
A large bridge that spanned over a lake. That was the exit out of Kazagawa. Soon, I'd be leaving the town that I grew to love so much. Could you do that? Quit school, go back home and live like that. A chill went down my spine as I remembered those words. That was the cruelest thing he ever said to me. It didn't matter when he would have said it to me. Today, or even a year ago. Either way, it was the cruelest thing.
ねえ、お父さん。
なんだい？
なんでもない。
I'm completely different from a year ago. I have tons of memories now. In my heart, there was an album of memories of all the days I spent with everyone. So there might be no future for me there, but I can relive those moments just by opening that album. So, I'll be fine. I have to do this. Because if I don't, Mom and Dad'll...
私、頑張ったんだよ。お父さん、頑張って上手になって、本当にグライダーを操縦したんだよ。
ああ。
何百メートルも高いところに上がって、それで、すごく楽しかったんだよ。
楽しいことならまた見つかる。もっと安全な遊びが。
違うんだよ。そうじゃないの。 グライダーで飛ぶ楽しさは、他じゃ変えられないんだよ。
We've had the same conversation over and over. I just continued to drive quietly with a sad look on his face.
ほら、見えてきたぞ。あの橋が。
お願い、お父さん。
小鳥。
He looked at me again with sad eyes.
辛いだろうけれど、それは今だけだ。向こうで暮らせば、きっとすぐ忘れられる。
Could I really throw away my dreams and live like nothing had happened?
友達だって、向こうでまたできるさ。
The Alto slowly carried me over the bridge. But once I crossed it, there'd be no going back. I was leaving the town that I once hated, the town that I now loved. Suddenly, I saw something in the side mirror. Is that a bicycle?
お父さん、止めて。
え？なんだって？
いいから止めて、お願い。
バカを言うな。こんなところで一体どうして？
お父さん。
Just a little man! Got there, hung downhill ride was waiting for me. The bicycle was in good condition, but my legs weren't. The tailwind that was helping me move was like some sort of miracle. Only a bit more! Gumption! It took more time than I thought. Just make it to the top. Finally, I reached the peak of the hill. I tried to catch my breath as I pedaled across the flat hilltop. In about 10 meters or so, I'll be going downhill. I could suddenly see it right before my Augen. The wide lake, the bridge, going right across it. There it is! Pace. Using energy I didn't know my body still had, I pedaled down the hill. I stooped forward, bicycle hill, tearing down the wind. I knew if I fell, I'd die. But on my way down the hill, I passed a slow-moving Alpha. This car that passed me going uphill, then to go. I kept pedaling. Bicycle kept accelerating. The bridge into the bottom of the hill. There they are! Kotori! Station wagon passed and suddenly ahead of me. Final sprint. The hill ended. I pedaled across the flat land after the station wagon. Kotori! I crossed that vehicle. Front of the station wagon. I could hear the brakes squeal as the Alto came to a halt. As soon as I saw it stop, I hit the brakes on my bike. As then. The bicycle fell to the ground. I bent with it. I laid upon the asphalt trying to catch my breath.
君、大丈夫か？
Kotori's father got out of the auto. I pulled my body up, struggling to stand on my shaking knees. uh,
ん？君は？
Kotori! Seeing her face, feeling of relief came over me that nearly sent my knees buckling down again. Her father came over to help me up, but I grabbed the bridge handrail and lifted myself up before he could. Kotori looked at me, completely unable to believe what was right before her eyes.
どうしてここに？
I pulled a crumbled piece of paper that until moments ago was in the shape of an airplane, and showed it to Kotori. I saw your SOS.
届いたんだ。
Kotori's eyes began to swell with tears. Mr. Habane, please don't take Kotori back home.
それを言うために追いかけてきたのか？
Bitte!
言ったはずです。これは私たち家族の問題だと。
I heard about your wife, about her collapsing.
それを知っていて、まだそんなことを。
Because I couldn't let this happen to Kotori. Verdammt! You told me on the phone, remember? How Kotori lying to you was your own fault? Kotori doesn't hate you. Even now, she deeply cares about you. Despite all that, she lied to you. Don't you understand now why she did that? I was basically pleading at this point.
だからこうして、その間違いを正し、また元の家族に戻ろうとしているんじゃないか。
Do you want her to lie to you again? This paper airplane was an SOS from her. This was the only way she could ask for help. You have to try to understand what she wants. She never said that by phone or messages. Everything Kotori was saying indicated that she was gonna go back home. Except for this paper airplane. She couldn't hide her true feelings. That would have been betraying herself. This paper airplane was an SOS from Kotori's heart. Kotori said that if she was able to fly through the morning glory, that she will have taken back her future.
未来？
Right. Whether or not she'll think she'll be able to realize her dreams or not in the future. You said it yourself, didn't you? How she can't have dreams that normal people have?
それは本当のことだ。あなたにだって分かっているでしょう。小鳥が普通の人のように何かをするのがどれほど大変か。
I silently nodded. Of course, I knew that. I'd been beside her all this time.
小鳥が身に余るほどの目標を叶えようとしたとき、どれほどの困難が待っているか。きっと傷つき、苦しみ、大きな挫折を味わうに決まっている。
The heart-wrenching way in which he spoke made it seem as if he might have seen Kotori like that time and time again. 9. He had to have seen it. He'd seen his daughter struggle to recuperate after the accident. So what does that even mean?
何？
Kotori isn't afraid of those things at all! Even after the accident, after losing the ability to use her legs, after all that, she still wants to fly. Doesn't that mean anything?
しかし、それは。
Sure, she's handicapped. She cries easily. She's scared of strange things. If you just look at her, you'd think she's dangerous, but... she's never turned her back on her goal. She's been courageously pressing forwards this whole time! Aren't you just stopping her to prevent your own fears, your own worries?
え？
That's not the same as loving your daughter. Kotori interrupted what I was saying. I snapped back to reality and shut my mouth. However, her father already knew what I was trying to say. Regardless, what I said, as honest as it may have been, was surely intensely painful for him to hear. If you're gonna take Kotori back to Tokyo, there's nothing I can do to stop you. It is a family problem. Kotori is still only a student. She can't live completely separated from her parents. But before that, can't you let her fly just once? Let us show you that what we've all been working towards hasn't been for nothing. Bitter!
お父さん。
Kotori began to get out of the passenger seat by herself. Unable to use her legs, she was hanging onto the door as she began to fall out of the auto.
小鳥！
He ran over and caught his daughter.
君、車椅子を！
Okay! I unloaded the wheelchair from the back of the station wagon. Kotori's father gently sat her into it. Watching him do it, I could tell he was a caring parent. As she was being held in her father's arms, she put a hand to his chest and said,
お父さん、私、本当に飛んだんだよ。空を、雲に手が届きそうなくらい高く。
ああ。
すごく気持ちよくて、楽しくて。そこじゃ私は、体が不自由な女の子じゃなくなるの。
でもそれは、たくさんの人たちが小鳥のために手助けをしてくれたからだろ？
Yeah, but it's not like Kotori's special. I decided to break the silence. No one can fly a glider by themselves. You need someone to man the winch, someone to hold the wingtips, someone to do the maintenance, someone to make it. So many people are needed to make it fly.
ねえお父さん、飛ばせて。私、飛びたいの。最後に一度だけでいい。そしたら、おとなしく家へ帰るから。
小鳥。
Looking at his beloved daughter, Mr. Habane shook his head.
お父さん！私、今飛ばないと、一生自分に嘘をついて暮らしていくことになる。もう二度と、自分の翼では飛べなくなっちゃう。この先ずっと、ただ見上げて暮らすなんて、嫌なの。
The father quietly closed his eyes. Then, quietly,
組み立て急ぐよー。パイロットが到着し次第、すぐ飛ぶからねー。風強いから気をつけて。翼になるべく正面から風が当たらないようにね。はい。お手伝いの人も気をつけてくださいね。人がいっぱいで、なんかお祭りみたいだね。あなたが集めたんでしょ？だって、みんな見たいだろうと思って。あかりちゃんだってそうでしょ？そりゃ、こんな面白いこと、見逃す手はないわ。だよね
夜食のおにぎりできました。手の空いた人から食べてってください。
梅干し、おかか、塩昆布あります。
俺おっかかー。ホタルは何にする？
じゃあ、梅干し。皆さんも、どうぞ。夜明けまであとどのくらい？54分。ギリギリね。パイロットが届けばね。組み立て完了しました。係留しっかりした？はい。よし。じゃあ、皆さん集まってください。これから発行手順を説明しますので。いいですか？ゴム柵を引っ張る役の人は、朝ちゃんチームと夜ちゃんチームに分かれてもらいます。私が発行準備開始って言ったら、ゴム柵を持ってください。その後は、一歩ずつ朝ちゃん、夜ちゃんと歩幅を合わせて引いていってもらいます。で、グライダーが離陸した後なんですが、あれはアゲハ先輩！葵先輩たち到着しました
I unsteadily lowered myself from the back of Anchan's truck. My knees were still shaking. That sprint had used up all my energy. I could hardly use my legs. I've been skipping out on practice way too much. Hey, Ageha. Could you help Kotori get down?
朝ちゃん、手伝って。
Anchan had heard the message I left him, was able to bring Kotori and me back here in his truck. After all, Kotori's father wasn't exactly ready to allow this. Thanks for coming, Anchan.
いや、俺こそすぐ電話に出られなくてすまなかったな。
おかえりなさい、小鳥先輩。ただいま。ったくもう、心配させやがって。ごめんね、みんな。
After getting into her wheelchair, Kotori came over to me.
足、大丈夫
？Yeah, they're just a little tired. But it feels like I can barely move, so I'm gonna have to ask you to pilot. I said it half serious and half trying to be motivating. It did manage to make Kotori smile.
小鳥、ちゃんと元気そうだな。あまねちゃん。
Kotori's mood suddenly picked up when she saw Amane running toward us waving.
待ってたんだぞ。二人が帰ってくるのを。
ごめんね。待たせちゃって。ほんとだわ。どれだけ私たちがやきもきしたか。
Behind the wry comments, Amane and Yoru were expressions of relief. Hey, it's looking like a festival or something. A crowd of people had gathered around our secret base. About 50 people or so. The crowd was growing more and more excited, yet looked somewhat like a group tour that had gotten lost.
かなこさんが声をかけてくれたんです。皆さん、私たちのフライトを見てみたいって。この人たち全部？期待されてますよ、私たち。
Kotori looked at everyone, dumbfounded.
はいはい。考えにふけってる時間はないよ。あまね先輩、フライトプランの変更点を二人に説明してやってください。おお、そうだった。
Ageha left us with Amane and went off to instruct the crowd. She began to explain all sorts of things to them.
ねえ、滑走路へ行かなくていいの？
Huh? Oh yeah, I forgot. I hadn't told Kotori about the broken winch. The truth is...
飛びおかめ、許すまじ。
Was ein Schweinhund. Ja.
でも、それならどうやって飛ぶの？
ここから飛ぶんだ。
Amane spread her arms out wide.
この丘から。
どうやって？
Amane began explaining the takeoff procedures to a confused-looking Kotori.
マジなの？それ。
ああ、マジだ。
Kotori gave me a worried look. Don't worry. If Amane says we can do it, we can.
そうね。あまねちゃんがそう言うなら大丈夫よね。
二人ともコックピットに乗って。
Okay.
了解。
Preparing our parachutes, we got into the cockpit. We checked the operation system.
右エルロン、OK。左エルロン、問題なし。
My pre-flight nerves were slowly increasing. Suddenly,
小鳥ちゃん？
Hibari had come running up to the cockpit.
ひばりね、どうしてここに？
I asked her to come. I wanted her to see what you were doing.
お姉ちゃん、ここで見てるから。だから、気をつけてね。
Hibari looked a little pale. She had always seemed like she wanted to stop Kotori. Saying nothing, she let her little sister go. Kotori laughed, gave a thumbs up.
任せて。私のかっこいいところ、見せてあげる。
Hibari gave a subtle smile to her little sister and walked away from the cockpit. Ageha then came over to talk to us.
発行の手順はあまね先輩から聞いたよね。 ゴム柵が伸びきったら私が合図を出すからブレーキを離して。そしたら走り出すから。
了解。
かなり難しい離陸になるけど、大丈夫？
Ageha asked in an uneasy tone.
いけると思う。イメージはもうつかめたわ。
わかった。信じてるよ、小鳥。
Those kids. Saying that, Ageha closed the canopy. She flashed me a look. It seemed as if she was asking me to take care of Kotori should anything happen. I silently nodded in response. As the dome came down over the cockpit, all the outside noises seemed to drift far away. We were in a world of our own. Kotori put a hand to her chest and took a deep breath. She seemed nervous.
迎えに来てくれてありがとう。
It was a faint whisper, but I could still hear her. I replied to her in a doubtful tone. Honestly, I don't know if this is gonna go okay.
私も。
We still didn't have her father's understanding. We were able to explain ourselves and bring her here.
でも。
Kotori looked up at the sky. Only a little bit more until dawn. The sky slowly brightened and the silhouette of the giant cloud dimly came into view.
今しかないから。
You're right. This was the first time the morning glory had appeared in Kazagawa in 27 years. If we miss this chance, who knows when we'll have another. Started issuing instructions. The crowd of people began to move. They broke up into two groups and readied the rubber cords. Agaha then tied the cord to the hooks underneath the glider. The connecting piece is located in the middle of the long rubber cord. From there, they stretch the cord to the left and the right. On each side, one led by Asa, the other by Yoru, numbers of people lined up holding onto it. The sides were, of course, not stretching out directly left and right as a glider. There were slight diagonals. This way, the people pulling on the cord wouldn't get hit by it. The problem is, in order for the glider to fly straight, both sides need to be at the exact same angle and use the exact same power. Asa and Yoru's positioning were such that their strides would sync. As they were twins, they had almost the exact same physique, even down to breathing. Ageha tapped on the canopy.
準備いい？
I nodded and Ageha responded with a thumbs up. I could hear cries of good luck from the crowd.
それでは引っ張りますよー。
The rubber cord was pulled back one step.
2
step. Is the cord slowly stretching? All the while, the glider remained firmly planted to the ground. Wheel stoppers were in place, and the tires were hooked into the... When Kotori releases the brake, the tires will release from them and begin to move.
Go! Lock!
Everyone's tension seemed to be increasing, just like the rubber cords. Hibari was watching over by the canopy with a worried look on her face.
お父さんにも見てほしかったな。
I think we were able to explain Kotori's feelings to her father. He hadn't given his blessings, however. It's terrifying. The memories of his daughter falling from the hot air balloon must still haunt him. The wind rolling up the hill became stronger and stronger. It began to make the wings tremble. The glider was shaking as if it was ready to fly any moment. Concentrate! Hold on to the control stick tightly. Don't think about anything other than flying right now.
了解。
Then, at that moment, the auto stopped in front of the secret base, and a man in a suit climbed out the driver's side.
小鳥
お父さん
Ageha stopped her counting once she saw Kotori's father. He'd come to stop the flight? Had he come to stop the flight? Oddly, he wasn't coming over to the cockpit. He'd stopped walking and was watching from a distance. Hibari walked over and joined him. Ageha threw a confused look over to us.
作準備よし行け小鳥
Kotori released the brake.
Oh!
よし行け飛んでください
Come on, Luskin! A few meters. Just high enough. Kotori and neutral, focus slightly. Life began to fly parallel until lining up with the ceiling.
待機速度は十分離陸成功だ
Right through the headwind. Right in the middle of Windmill Hill. The path was made from all the wind blowing into the present shaped hill. strength of that headwind is enough to lift up.
やった！どうだ！嘘みたい！あんな方法で！
Don't get excited just yet. Now,
分かってるって！
皆さん、急いで移動してください。すぐに戻ってきますからね。ライトをまだもらってない人、取りに来てください。
お父さん、ひばりさん。
ん？
どうしたの？朝ちゃん。これ、サイリウム？
どうしてこんなものを。
Kotori, make a U-turn.
了解！
Watch out for height loss. Speed as well.
分かってる！ 速度足りるかな？
Thanks to the glider effect, we won't descend that much. I think.
Mokhyou は？
Can't see it yet. Mill Hill, where we launched from, is now nothing but a silhouette. They could barely make up the ridge line through the light of the sky that was peeking through. The ton of distance was nearly impossible. Even worse, up, down, links, left, front, back, everywhere was pitch black. We had no sense of direction. Don't get confused by how it looks. Pay attention to the instruments. When the rain subsides, by thick fog or clouds, flying by the instruments is the only option. If you rely on poor vision, illusions will cause a loss of field of your true positioning. However, since Kotori doesn't have much flight experience, she still is interested in looking at the instruments. I supported Kotori, waiting for our target to appear. It's that moment.
あれ見て！青い！
A small light twinkled within the darkness. As we moved on, we saw a line of lights going up the hill.
ゆかさんたちだ！
everyone would gather holding a light, making a pathway for us. This was another part of Amane's flight plan. Creating this trail of light was another reason for all the people with lights were assembled. We're nearing the hill. Raise the pitch!
了解。
As she did, the glider felt as if it was being raised from below.
リフトに乗ったみたい。
Began to rise higher and higher, fueled by the strong wind. This wind, slope drift, was a strong upward sloping wind coming from between the hills and mountains. This was the wind that went up the face of the hill, the wind that powered the windmills, the wind we felt we walked on the hill. The glider continued to accelerate and rise higher. We went past the place below us. We couldn't think so long. We told her all the lights held one by people below us.
光が揺れてる。手を振ってくれてるんだ。
Watch out! You're gonna run into the windmill! If we followed the trail of lights, we wouldn't hit the windmill. However, who knows what would happen if there was a mistake. Riding the slope light is still passing. Then, went out, flew over the hill, began to rise higher, higher, headed toward the hidden break.
うーや、近くで見るとすごい迫力だったね。あんなにスピードが出ているものなのね。
ちっくしょう。なんかむちゃくちゃかっこよかったんだけど、あいつら。
青兄はいつもかっこいいよ。あーちゃん、これもういいの？
ありがとう、ホタル。皆さんもご協力ありがとうございました。グライダーは無事離陸に成功しました。ゆかさん、サイリウムありがとうございました。おかげで超助かりました。
役に立ってよかったわ。
でも、なんでこんなにいっぱいサイリウム持ってたんですか？
ゆかさん、某アイドルグループの追っかけやってるから。コンサートの必需品だからね。1回のコンサートで20本以上使う時もあるし、いつもストックしてあるのよ。
Understandable.
はあ、なるほど。
あれを小鳥が操縦しているのか。
そうみたい。
お父さんとひばりさんもお手伝いしてくださってありがとうございました。
いや、私たちは。
あっちに夜食のおにぎりあるんで、どうぞ食べてってください。
お嬢さん。
お？
小鳥のために、こんなに大勢の人が協力してくださったのですか？
ええ。
あの子を飛ばせてやるために。
いやー、それはどうかな。別に小鳥のためってわけじゃないかも。多分みんな自分がやりたいからやってるんです。 うちの学校、そういう物好き多いし。私だってそうですよ。小鳥が飛ぶところを見たかっただけです。
はあ、
お父さん言ってましたよね。空を飛んだからなんだと言うんだって。今飛び立っていた二人を見て何も感じませんでしたか？
いや、それは。
感じたと思うわ。
にひひ。じゃあ期待しててください。これからもっとすごいことが起こりますから。
At this altitude, we should be able to make it. Be careful with crosswinds. Currents run. Kotori?
了解。
What's wrong? Tired?
違うよ。さっきの光の中にお父さんもいたのかなって。
Yeah. I wondered too. But I think he's there. I mean, he was there for takeoff. This is why he came, right?
そうだといいな。
Hey, the nose is descending. Be careful. Want to show me what you can do?
この1年で私も成長したんだってところを見せたい。
Looks like we're going into this unrehearsed.
あ、うん。
Realize what I said. Erase myself. Originally, I had to practice this. If only that accident hadn't happened.
見て、葵。
The eastern sky was becoming brighter and brighter. It would soon be dawn. Let's hurry.
見つけたぞ貴様ら。
Diese Marschloch.
なになに？うわ、ここで来るのかよ。
貴様ら、こんなところで何をしている？
ですね、先生。これは、
ソアリング部には活動停止を言い渡したはずだぞ。
まあ、そうなんですが。どうしよ
なにどうしたの？
飛岡先生。
雲井。お前、生徒会長のくせに、どうして止めない？
彼らが行っているのはただの部活動です。止める理由がありません。
Jawohl!
何よバカな。こいつらには活動停止を命じてある。
初耳ですが。それに、お言葉ですが、飛岡先生の一存で部活動を制限するような権限はお持ちでなかったと思いますが。
何？
ですので、我々生徒会としましてはどうすることもできません。
なら、こいつらが破損させた体育倉庫の鍵はどうなる？
それも初耳ですが、何か証拠が？
証拠なら、そこにグライダーが。
グライダー？そんなのどこにあるんですか？
ここにはそんなのないよね。
貴様ら。
Veldige Fick, Scheißverräter.
調べればすぐにわかることだ。覚悟しろよ。
自分だってうんちを壊したくせに。
She's got a point.
あれだって、調べれば犯人がわかるかもしれないわね。
私たち、処分を受ける覚悟はできてます。だから、今日だけは見逃してください。
できるわけないだろう、そんなこと。
そうでもないと思いますよ。何せ、ここには何の証拠もないのですから。
じゃあ、一体ここで何をやってるんだ？
みんなで空の観察でーす。今から面白い雲が見られるそうなんで。
先生もご一緒に見ていかれますか？
あんまり騒ぐんじゃないぞ。いいな！
なんとか追い返したわね。
あかりさん、ありがとうございました。
あかりさん、かっこよかったっす。
つい、カッとなってしまったわ。
たまにはいいんじゃない？ストレス溜め込むのは体に毒だよ。
それより、二人は今どこに？
プラン通りなら、そろそろ山岳波に乗っている頃ですけど。乗ったみたい。
Yeah, it does. Suddenly, just as the trembling stopped, the glider began to rise with almost no recoil at all. It felt as if gravity had disappeared.
これが、ウェーブリフト。
As we rode the rotor wind up higher and higher, we reached a part of the sky that seemed like it had a mountain wave. There was a sudden change from the rough turbulence to a stillness. It was peaceful, but the altimeter kept on rising. We rose higher into the sky. It's as if we were no longer flying by the wind. I don't really feel any shaking at all.
怖いくらい静かだわ。
The world record for the highest flying glider, which made it to the stratosphere, used a mountain lift. Mount Tsukubai isn't a particularly large mountain, but if we can get to an altitude of 2,000 meters, it'll be enough. However, there's no guarantee that there'll be a mountain wave. The conditions entirely dependent on the wind that's blowing. Today, though, I was confident that it would appear. It was related to the way Amane derived that morning glory would appear in Kazagaura. Mountain waves are known to appear along with strange cloud formations. Her hypothesis is that morning glory is created by the mountain waves of Mount Tsukubai, which basically means when morning glory appears, there's no chance there wouldn't be mountain waves. The pre-dawn sky, while still dark, was beginning to show some strange colors as the light came through. Before we knew it, we reached our target altitude.
見て、あれ。
Below us, we could see the silhouette of the cloud passage. We stood a moment staring in amazement at its massive size. This wasn't the mistake that we saw a year ago. This was the real thing. It was that moment. Rays of light began to come from the east. It's dawn. The morning sun broke through the darkness and began to light up the sky. Began to color the view. As a giant cloud began to sparkle.
きれい。
Did he whisper with a sense of amazement? Yeah. I didn't know what else to say. I could feel tears beginning to form in my Augen. Joy or sorrow or even fun. A more fundamental feeling began to fill my heart, and my tears began to overflow. I was overwhelmed, and for a moment, at a complete loss of words.
行くよ、葵。
Okay.
神々しいって言葉がぴったりくるわね。あれが、望月先輩がずっと追い続けていた、幻の空。そうみたい。追いかけちゃう気持ち、わかるかも。
おー、何あれ、マジすげえ。
お兄たち、もうあそこまで飛んだのかな。
あれがいつかが行きたがってた空なんだな。
ああ。
葵くんたちが、いつかの夢をあそこまで運んでくれた。私にはできなかったことをしてくれた。
いい後輩を持ったな、俺たち。
ああ、
綺麗ね。
ああ、しかし、何なんだあの雲は。まるで奇跡でも見ているようだ。
モーニンググローリーです。
モーニンググローリー。
風ヶ浦の空に、数十年に一度現れる不思議な雲。私も本物を見たのは初めてです。
小鳥は、あの雲を近くで見たいから、グライダーで飛んでいったんですか？
近くで見る？いえいえ、そうじゃないですよ。
ん？
飛ぶんです。あの上を。あの雲の回廊を渡るために、必死で登っていったんです。
あの上を、渡る？
はい。
信じられん。
多分今頃、到着してるはずですよ。
今あそこに、小鳥が。
葵、私たちついにやったんだね。
Yeah. We did.
アゲハ、聞こえる？
小鳥？聞こえてるよ。ちょっと電波が悪いみたいだけど。そっちどう？今どのあたり？
乗ったよ、モーニンググローリーに。今、その上を渡ってるところ。
よし！みんな！小鳥たち、今あの上にいるって！どんな気分？
なんて言ったらいいかわからない。奇跡の中にいる気分。
葵？ねえ、葵はどうなの
Feels like I've died and gone to heaven.
こらこら、縁起でもないこと言うな。
Really though, that's what it feels like. I can't believe this is really happening.
下から でもすごいんだもん。上からだともっとすごいんでしょうね。ゆっくり楽しんできてよ。
ありがとうアゲハ。みんなもありがとう。
土産話期待してるからね。通信終わり。
すごい。こんなにすごい場所だなんて思ってなかった。想像を絶するってこういうことを言うのね。ねえ葵、ここまで連れてきてくれてありがとう。この場所へ来られたことはきっと一生の誇りだわ。でも葵がいなきゃ無理だった。みんなも。多分私の人生も捨てたもんじゃないね。
クイックセーブしといたからね。
You think you can invade over there? Okay, ich bin bereit. 1, 2. Donk. I hung the white sheets over the clothesline. A few tugs and they were all set.
相変わらず精が出ますなあ。
That's you, Ageha.
こんにちは、アゲハ先輩。こんにちは。チース。
What'd you come here for?
いやー、家にいると店の手伝いやらされるから逃げてきちゃった。
You okay? Dein Großmutter's going to get angry again.
課題を一緒にやるって言って出てきたから平気。しかしなんですなあ。みんなが学校行ってる時に家にいると時の流れがゆったりだよね。
I've been able to catch up on my work, so I guess that's good. day in September. Summer vacation's over and the second semester has begun. But V didn't go to school. After he broke into the gym storeroom to take back the glider, the entire soaring club was suspended.
悪い子になったみたいで、なんだかドキドキします。
なんで私まで部員じゃないのに。
Excluding Yoru, everyone not in the club who helped out did not get suspended. Honestly, I felt it was a little anticlimactic. I was really prepared for a stricter punishment. Despite the results, it felt like our summer vacation was extended and we spent the suspension time relaxing.
小鳥から連絡は？
She called yesterday. She seemed to be doing fine.
さあ、なんだかんだで実家の居心地はいいのかね。
That's right. Seems like she's getting on by herself these days.
ねえ、一緒に課題やろうよ。
私たちもやります。
私はもう終わらせたけど、ここにいても暑いだけだから付き合うわ。
Sure, no problem. I just hung out the sheet, so hold on a minute.
あいよ
The white sheet shone against the pure blue sky. That day, we flew through the morning glory. Looking at the clear sky, I would have never thought it would really have happened. I passed the clouds across the sky. We flew through that miracle-like place in the sky. Soon, the pasted clouds melted away to the rays of the rising sun. After watching it to the very end, we returned to the runway.
Oh,
おかえりなさい、二人とも。ただいま、朝、夜、みんな。
A crowd of people had been waiting on the runway for our return.
すごかった。私、感動しちゃったよ。
私もよ。すごいもの見ちゃったわ。
ゆかさん感動して泣いちゃってましたもんね。とても綺麗だった。
Everyone gathered around the cockpit. I got out first and pushed over Kotori's wheelchair, which someone prepared for us. While I was getting the wheelchair ready, Ageha unbuckled Kotori and got her out.
お疲れさん。お疲れ様。
After realizing how ordinary they were both laughed.
やったね。イエーイ。
They high fived.
かっこよかったよ。
Hey, Kotori, you came too, eh?
やっぱすげえな、お前らは。マジで痺れたぜ。
Dankeschön.
今度、俺たちも乗せてくれよな。
乗ってみたい。
Anytime.
見せてもらったわ、水瀬くん。
Akari.
先生方に逆らってあなたたちを承認した私の目に狂いはなかったわね。
I'm glad we could prove ourselves. Everyone came by wanting to say something. I saw Anchan at the edge of the crowd. Anchan! waving my hand at him, sheepishly entered the crowd. Anchan, did you see it?
ああ、もちろんだ。かっこよかったぞ、葵。
After being complimented, I could feel myself begin to blush a bit.
ありがとな。
Danke?
こっちのことだよ。
Saying that, he started to pat me on the head. Hey, I'm not a kid, but damn.
悪い悪い。つい癖でな。
He did it again. Hey, stop it. Lots of people I had never seen before kept coming up and saying how amazing and wonderful it was. Kotori and I felt overjoyed to be able to share this moment with so many people. After a while, when the crowd's energy had subsided,
小鳥、
お父さん、
her father and Hibari walked over to her.
すまなかった。空を飛びたいというお前の真剣な気持ちを遊びだと言ってすまなかった。
Kotori's father gave her a deep apologetic bow.
お父さん、
ひばりと一緒に見ていたよ。お前が飛ぶ姿とあの美しい空を。
There was a sparkle of excitement in his eyes. He seemed to be just as excited as everyone else in the crowd.
私はお前にまた嘘をつかせてしまうところだったんだな。
そんなことない。お父さんは私のことを思って言ってくれてたんだもん。
Her father shook his head.
私は怖かったんだ。お前がまた傷つく姿を見るのが。けどそれはお前を大切に思うこととは違っていた。頑張っている娘を応援しようともせず、カゴの中へ閉じ込めようとしていた。すまなかった。
Kotori stared at her father's bowed head.
私こそ、ごめんなさい。大事なことを黙っていて。お父さんたちがどんなに心配するか、分かってたのに。
いいんだ。そうさせてしまったのは私たちだ。お前はもう自分の翼で飛べる。なのに、それを認めようとしなかったのだから。
As her father spoke, tears began to well in Kotori's eyes. But instead of crying, she began to smile.
早く帰ろう。
え？
だってお母さんが待ってるんでしょ？早く安心させてあげたい。
いいのか？
夏休みの間だけなら。
ああ、そうしてくれると嬉しい。車を取ってくるよ。
He sprinted off towards the alto. He was so happy that he nearly tumbled over a rock as he ran.
お姉ちゃんもいっぱい心配かけてごめんなさい。そんなことはいいのよ。小鳥ちゃんが無事なら。どうだった？見てくれてたんでしょ？ええ、かっこよかったわ。さすがは私の小鳥ちゃんだわ。ちょっと怖かったけど。慣れればどうってことないわ。あ、そうだ。今度、後ろに乗せてあげる。
Kotori's big grin seemed to draw a smile out of Hibari, too.
ちょっとお父さんとお話ししてくるわね。
As Hibari said that, Kotori began looking around for someone. What's wrong?
あ、
Kotori sped her wheelchair over to the person she was looking for.
やあ、小鳥。
見ててくれた？
ああ、見てたぞ。あんまり高いからよく見えなかったけどな。
飛んだよ！私たち、モーニンググローリーを！
ああ、
すごく綺麗だった。あまねちゃんにも見せてあげたかったな。
私はいいよ。雲の上から下を見るなんて、想像しただけでゾッとするぞ。
なんでよ。あまねちゃんの夢だったんでしょ？
私じゃない。いつかの夢だ。それに、もう叶った。君たちが叶えてくれた。いつかと飛ぶはずだったあのグライダーを、あの場所まで運んでくれたんだから。
Kotori gave me a timid look. Her eyes seemed to be asking what was going on. I answered with a nod and a smile. Kotori grinned herself.
これでいいんだね。
あ、ありがとう。小鳥、葵くん。
As Amane cracked a smile, Kotori broke into full laughter.
ねえ、葵、
Yeah?
ちょっとの間だけ東京に帰るね。
That's a good idea. Let your parents spoil you for a while.
そうする。寂しいからって浮気しちゃダメよ。
Like I do that.
お父さん、どうしたの？
いつの間にか小鳥は自分の居場所を自分で作っていたんだな。
そうね。梶ヶ浦の人たちはみんな親切でいい人ばかりよ。
ああ。私たちはもっと強くならないといけないのかもしれない。小鳥を見守る親として。小さなカゴの中に押し込めてしまうには、あの子の翼は大きすぎるんだ。
いつまでも悲しんでばかりはいられないわ。私たちも前へ進まないと。
ああ。
お父さん、お姉ちゃん、早く帰ろう。帰りましょう。
ああ。
With that, Kotori got in the Alto and the family drove off. However, since our suspension was issued on the last day of summer vacation, she stayed at home throughout it. The days passed. Kotori, wake up! Breakfast is almost ready. Hey, Kotori!
おはよう。今何時？
7:42. Breakfast ready. Come on, get changed and come on eat.
いただきまーす。
Fully awake, Kotori began to shove her breakfast down her throat.
はい、ハット？ここ。
Hat went over to Kotori and started eating something. I know you don't like vegetables, but don't feed them to Hat.
急いでるからよ。
How'd you sleep in late? Didn't you set your alarm?
久しぶりに学校行けると思ったら興奮しちゃって、昨日の夜よく眠れなかったのよ。
Apparently, by the time she was able to get to sleep, she went ahead and slept right through the alarm. Today, our suspension was finally over. Our extra long summer vacation was now over, and our second semester was starting late.
おはようございます、小鳥先輩。おはようございます、ハバネ先輩。おはよう、双子シスターズ。今日もよく似てるわね。お寝坊ですか？珍しいですね。体内時計が狂ってるみたいなのよ。定額になって単位落としてるのに、遅刻とかしちゃシャレになんないわ。
You got a bit of bad head. I pointed this out to her. She was shoveling food into her mouth. With bowl and chopsticks still in hand, she leaned her head toward me. Du bist hoffnungslos. Grabbing a brush from the bathroom, I started to fix Kotori's hair. Huh. You really got nice hair.
そうでしょう。自慢のサラサラヘアですから。あた、引っかかってる。
Stood me alive.
もう、注意してよね。葵だって嫌でしょ？私の髪が枝毛だらけになっちゃったら。
That would be terrible.
相変わらず容赦のないベタベタっぷりね。朝から殺意を催しそうだわ。いいと思うな、私。ちょっと羨ましいけど。ごちそうさま。
I'll clean up. You go get ready. Come on, there's no time.
ラジャー。
I got behind Kotori's wheelchair as we exited the building. Los geht's! Hold on tight!
飛ばせー！待ってくださいよ、先輩！そして、相変わらずの無茶っぷり。エネルギーが有り余ってるわね。
Going back to school for the first time, what felt like ages, we were greeted as if we were heroes.
スワーリング部だ。ハバネさんたち帰ってきた。なに写真見たよ。すごい綺麗だった。私らも呼んでほしかった。
The entire class began to gather around us. Suddenly, a huge crowd had formed as students from other classes made their way in here as well.
おはよう、お二人さん。ハゲハ、これ何なの？定額になってる間に、私らのことが話題になってたみたい。こないだ、見に来てた人の中に、うちの学校の新聞部もいたらしくてさ。ついでに、飛岡先生に逆らって定額ってのが、新鮮で刺激的だったみたいよ。
Well, I'll be damned. Students rarely get suspended from our school. It's not really a school where the bad kids go. Most students have fun, trouble-free years. However, Mr. Tobioka's hatred is well known, and us getting suspended was talked about like a heroic story. ようやく時代が私たちに追いついてきたか。Don't get too cocky. Being suspended isn't something to be proud of.
わかってるわよ。気分よ、気分。ところで部長、その騒ぎのおかげで入部希望者が続々と集まってるんですが。
Kotori's eyes sparkled.
どうする？部員、入れる気あるの？
いいわ。ただし、生半可な気持ちじゃダメよ。
ほほう。というと？
入部資格は、空に恋してるかどうか。そうじゃない人は、残念だけど仲間とは認められないわ。
そんな奴はあんただけだ。
That's right. Don't lump us in with that. It's embarrassing.
なんでよ。みんな恋してないの？
Let's put aside Kotori's silly talk for a second. The Soaring Club's in a strange position right now. It goes without saying that Mr. Tobioka has been working to keep the Soaring Club abolished. It was originally supposed to have gone smoothly. However, the situation's changed. Morning Glory became a local news story in Kazagawa. It was quite different from the one 27 years ago when the internet and digital cameras weren't widespread. Even a number of videos taken by the crowd ended up on the TV news. So then this strange cloud was flown through by some students in a homemade glider. What about that? While we were suspended, the local media contacted the school about doing coverage. This led to the principal as well as the directors learning a lot of the details about what we did. Especially as the chairman of the board, that is, Asa and Yoru's grandfather, seemed to be appreciative of all the praise the school was getting. As a result, the abolishment of the club was postponed. A lot of views came up, such as inviting in specialists from outside the club as well as getting more help. The school itself would seem to be expanding into aerospace engineering studies as well, that very likely played a part as well. It wasn't just the teachers. The students who came to watch that day also started up a petition against abolishing the club. In the petition, Akari had written about all that we'd done throughout the year and everything that led up to that flight. On the one hand, I couldn't believe she'd written that report, but on the other, it felt great to have her as an ally. Because of this, we found ourselves placed into a strange position. However, having performed a major objective like flying through the Morning Glory, we didn't really have our next goal. All these things were protecting us from the commotion.
いいんじゃないかな。新入部員、興味持ってくれてるんなら。
そうよね。これからは今までみたいにシャニムに頑張るって感じじゃなくなるだろうし。
Wouldn't a laid-back soaring club be just as good? That is, of course, the club could still exist. After school that day, as we were chatting, as we were going down the hall to leave, we saw a familiar face in front of the elevator.
あまねちゃんだ。
やあ、君たち。
こんにちは。
Amane and Akari were chatting.
何してるの？あまねちゃん。
違うぞ、小鳥。あまねちゃんではなく、望月先生だ。
新型風車開発プロジェクトの特別講義が今日からだったのよ。
ああ、例の。
Are you taking the class, Akari?
ええ。
Only a limited number of students could get in. It was very competitive, but not surprising that Akari got in.
あまねちゃんも偉くなったもんね。
あんたはいつまでも偉そうだな。
I heard about the petition, Akari. Thanks for all your help.
礼を言われるほどのことでもないわ。私は私の信念に基づいて行動しているだけだから。あれだけの実績を残した部がなくなるなんて 慶風学園にとって損失以外の何物でもありませんからね。
Kotori seemed proud of what Akari was saying. She had received a lot of compliments today and was starting to get cocky.
じゃあ、あまねちゃん顧問続けてよ。また一緒に飛びたい。
それはごめんだ。
Amane spoke bluntly and laughed. Kotori frowned.
なんでよ。
もう飛ぶのはこりごりだ。それに、私も一応大人だから、責任は取らないといけない。
Amane was the one who took responsibility for Kotori's accident. Basically, the Soaring Club was losing its representative. It was unfortunate, but probably for the best. This would take away all of her responsibility for the glider.
寂しい。
でも、君たちが飛び続けるなら、時々覗かせてもらうつもりだ。君たちと何かするのは、楽しいからな。
Amane is honestly shocked at this. Akari actually seemed a bit jealous of us.
じゃあな、君たち。さようなら、先輩。
またね、望月先生。
Wiedersehen. We headed directly back to the dorm after school.
わわ。
ただいま、ハット。今おやつあげるからね。
かー。
Kotori headed off to the dining hall to get Hat's food. Seems like we're the first ones back. Even though we were on suspension for a while, the students in my dorm tend to take the long way home or have clubs. Usually no one's around at this time. Returning to my room, I put down my bag and started changing out of my school uniform. It sure is hot for September. So I'll change my t-shirt.
ち
Yeah? All of a sudden, Kotori was peeking through my slightly open door. Hey, when did you become a peeping Thomas?
いいじゃない、ちょっとくらい。
If everyone allowed this, Japan would become a pervert's paradise.
部活がないと暇ね。
Saying this, Kotori begins poking through my bookshelf. That's because we pretty much spend every free minute in the clubs this year. I didn't realize how busy it kept us till it was suddenly gone. Busy, sure, but it was so very fulfilling. As we talked, I decided to just change my t-shirt.
ち
Was! Kotori was looking at...
いや、
Nope.
なんか前よりムキムキになってない？
Have I? I wasn't sure how to respond, but I couldn't help but be a little happy about it. Actually, while I've been suspended from school, I started cycling again.
そうなの？
That day I chased after you, I really overdid it though. My knees started hurting again. I began to look extremely worried. I went to the hospital and got it checked out. They said it was nothing to worry over. They said as long as I didn't overdo it, it'd be alright for me to ride. I'd be fine as long as I didn't race, they said. So since I haven't been getting much exercise, I started going out on little excursions.
へえ。
There's really nothing else to do. The school's still deciding what to do about the soaring club, and the winch is still being repaired. All we can do is wait. Letting out a sigh that said nothing about her feelings, Kotori stared at the bicycle in the corner of my room. How was home?
まあまあかな。
I still hadn't heard the details of her time home. Kotori only came back late last night. This is the first time we were together since then. How's your mother doing?
もうすっかり元気。倒れたって聞いた時はびっくりしたけど、うちのお母さん、大げさなところあるから。私の顔見た1時間後には、キッチンに立ってご飯作ってたわよ。まったく、人の気も知らないでさ。
This is the mother who Kotori decided to quit school and go home for. Well, that's just because she worries about you, right? Did you talk to her about the glider?
全部話したわ。そしたら、また倒れそうになってた。
Sheesh.
でもまあ、お父さんもひばり姉も加勢してくれて、なんとか納得してくれたような、そうでもないような。もうちょいかかるかな。
Considering how she sounds, I doubt she'll be so easily persuaded. The only thing to do is keep being persistent. Ends are gonna let you stay here?
そこはバッチリ。何せお父さんが、そうした方がいいって言ってくれたから。
Wow. Hard to believe you'd say that after how much you want to take her back home.
モーニンググローリーの奇跡のような光景を見て、きっと心が洗われたのね。
She was completely serious. I guess that could be the case. That view did bring out an excitement in some people from deep down within. But in this situation, witnessing your daughter reach a goal would be the bigger thing, I think.
その代わり、私が定期的に帰省することと、お父さんたちが時々こっちに遊びに来ることになったから。
Really? Well, that's good. Especially since you're not that far of a drive away.
それと、お父さんがね、葵のことを褒めてた。
About me? She nodded.
彼はなかなか見どころのある若者だって。
He was saying what a promising young lad you were.
お母さんも会ってみたいって言ってたから、今度連れてきてもいい？
Oh? Yeah, sure.
きっと気に入ると思うわ。葵、背が高くてかっこいいから。
I'm gonna meet her mother. Even though I know it's just a simple meeting, it still makes me nervous.
こないだ、この自転車に乗ってる葵、初めて見たけど、超かっこよかった！痺れるくらい、私の王子様って感じ。また好きになっちゃったわ。
She turned red and started to look nervous.
あんまりかっこいいから、こないだなんて夢に見ちゃったくらいよ。
Really? What kind of traum?
いや、それは内緒です。
Thus, you won't tell me.
ダメ！企業秘密！
What company? Kotori came closer and glares at me.
こんなかっこいい男の子が私の彼氏だなんて、まだ信じられないわ。何かの手違いじゃないかしら。
What do you mean, mistake? Do you still think I don't care about?
じゃあ、会えない間に、私の夢見た？見てないんだ！やっぱり好きじゃないんだ！
I did. Of course I did.
じゃあ、なんで即答できないわけ？別に、私に恋焦がれてなかったんでしょ？
That's... After saying she couldn't say anything, being a company secret, perhaps I got a little stubborn myself. However, Kotori looked at me with teary eyes.
本当に見た？
I did. Really.
どんな夢？
Well, it was, I kneeled down and looked Kotori in the eyes. Get kustia. This kind of dream.
それだけ？
You saying you don't know what happened?
わかんないよ。
I brought her close to me.
葵。
Kotori hugged me back. Du gewinnst, you win. When I met you in my dream, this is what you did. Just as strong as you are right now.
嬉しくて死にそう。
What about your dream?
私も同じ。夢の中でもこんな感じ。幸せで死にそうだったわ。
This isn't a dream. I'm here.
私もいる。
I'm really happy.
私も幸せ。うわあ、好きすぎてどうにかなっちゃいそう。
Kotori, whatever happens, I still love you. You don't have to worry.
ずっと好きでいてくれる？
Of course I will.
私も。
Kotori.
葵。
All of our emotions flew through it.
葵、大好き。
こっこー。
Hat cheerfully pecked around God grass.
と行くよ。それ。
They began to stray wasps from the hose at the duck.
気持ちよさそう。
When Kotori had finished, Hat waddled over next to her. I sat down as well. At that moment, we both looked up to see clouds slowly drifting across the blue sky. I want to fly. Whenever I look up at the sky, I get that feeling. Especially when I'm with Kotori.
ねえ、葵。あの時、迎えに来てくれてありがとう。
No problem.
サイに気づいてくれないんじゃないかって思ってた。
She was talking about the SOS she sent. It's a plain, nondescript paper airplane. I didn't get it at first, but then I remembered the first time we met.
本当はあんなサイン出すつもりなかったんだけど、気がついたら紙飛行機を折ってお姉ちゃんに渡してた。
Kotori asking me to help her was basically her choosing flying over her family. That's not something she could have done. Instead, she put her feelings into that paper airplane and had me go to her.
葵が気づいてくれたおかげでモーニンググローリーを飛ぶことができた。もし葵がいなかったら私は今ここにいないだろうし、多分空を見上げることももうできなくなってたと思う。
Without him. It's the one thing she said she could do.
きっと高い高い空を見上げるたびに飛べない自分を思い知らされてたと思うの。そうしてそのうち見上げることもやめてしまってたと思う。でも もう私は飛んだし、自分は飛べるんだって知ってる。他の、普通の人たちよりも、少しだけ大変かもしれないけどね。
I took back my future. At some point, Kotori had begun looking straight up at the apex of the sky. I felt like Kotori was always looking up higher than I was. Noticing her doing this, I set my eyes at the same spot hers were looking at. I had to be thankful for Kotori as well.
それでね、実はね。
Kotori was suddenly mumbling.
もう一つ、お話ししなきゃいけないことがあるの。
The timid look on her face caused me to brace myself. Did something happen while you were at home? Something had happened.
なんかね、見つかったらしいの。
Found was.
手術できる病院が。
Huh? At first, I didn't know what she was talking about. But when I realized a moment later, I could barely believe it. By surgery, you mean... I looked down at Kotori's legs. She nodded. She then stretched out an arm towards me. I took her hand in my own, trembling slightly. Are you scared? Kotori nodded.
もしダメだったら、確率 0% になっちゃうもん。
Losing the possibility of recovery was the same as losing hope. It would be better to have that hope even if it wasn't real. It's okay. I'll be there with you. Nothing will change, even if it's not a success. But Kotori shook her head.
無理よ。
Vadim.
アメリカだから。
Huh?
手術を受けるには、アメリカに行かなきゃいけないの。
Oh. I see. For a moment, I thought about going with her.
怖いけど、頑張ってくるね。
Her tone was anxious as she gazed at me with tear-filled eyes.
私やっぱり、葵と手をつないでデートしたいから。
I was shocked to hear this news. Shocked to the point of trembling. But I concealed my feelings and held Kotori's shaking hand. However, the surgery would not be performed right away. Kotori's situation wasn't urgent, and since it was a famous doctor, there was a waiting list. In the meantime, Kotori got her passport and school leave sorted out. She went to America 2 months later. The surgery was a success! The feeling had returned to Kotori's legs. Knowing the chance of success was nothing short of a miracle. However, the real challenge was only just beginning. After returning home, she began her days of grueling rehabilitation. Once again, she was feeling the pains of not being able to do things she could once do. However, Kotori Habane is not the sort to give up that easily. After months of rehabilitation, she was able to stand herself up on crutches. During that time, we became seniors and the new freshmen started at Keifu. Then, just around the time when summer was about to start, Today's my first flight in a long time. When I arrived at the runway, someone was already waiting there. Standing there on crutches, she looked more like an adult than after a sudden wind blew her long hair. She tucked it behind her ears. She looked completely natural, and her eyes were just like they used to be. An impatient look twinkled in her eyes as she gazed at the far-reaching horizon. I want to fly right now. I heard it in my head as real as day.
Aoi!
Hey, you're already here.
コンディションを見ておこうと思って。
Seems pretty good.
気持ちのいい風が吹いてきたわ。いいサーマルも出てそうだし。絶好のフライト日和ね。
Yeah. The end of summer is the one time a year when vertical drafts are most likely to occur. Clear day like today really is the best for flying. You're gonna fly today, right?
一年どもに空を飛ぶことの何たるかを教えてやらないといけないからね。
Ah, quit it with that sappy talk.
嘘！なんでよ。
Well, you know, there just aren't as many people I can say that they love the sky like that.
最近の若いもんは。
3 years younger than us, and you sure can feel the generation gap.
私らも年取ったわね。
It was a joke, but it had been 2 years since we first met. So many things happened during that time. Too many things. It's impossible to believe all those things happened in only 2 years.
後輩らにもちゃんと教えてあげなくちゃ。私らが空に憧れたような熱い気持ちをさ。
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a dream handed down from Amane. We spent that entire year with one goal on our mind, and yet it was a completely irreplaceable year. One of the dreams had been realized. However, the sky still went on higher and higher, without end. By the way, Amane said she'd come by today to watch.
本当に？よーし、いいとこ見せなくっちゃ。
The grass waved as the wind cut through the runway. The wind blowing over the lake was one unique to Kazagawa. Our wings...
ランウェイイズクリア！ウィンチ、準備完了。
Preparations are all done here.
よーし、行くわよ、コトリー！いいわよ、あげて！
We're flying. We spread out our white wings and flew toward anywhere underneath the vast blue sky. That's really it, isn't it? Wow. Well, guys, that was If My Heart Had Wings. And my god. If you stuck with me from the time I started this, like, all those years ago, like, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking with me through all this. It's like, it's been a long time coming, but we finally made it. And I don't even really know what to say, honestly. I know there's a couple other routes in this game, we need to, but I think I'm gonna give this one a break for a while, just get some new ones out there. Maybe we'll come back to this someday, but for the time being, we've got greener pastures to hit, so I hope you'll stay with me through whatever's coming, whatever's been, and whatever's now. It's been a long journey, and I'm glad we saw it to the end. So, God, Dankeschön from yeah. So, till whatever we figure out next, it's been your German boy. Auf Wiedersehen.